Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountain.
All right, sports is about winning. Unfortunately, in the Berg this week, it wasn't about winning. It was a horrible week for every single team. Your Steelers went to Philadelphia and got dismantled by a young rookie quarterback and a defense that was aggressive. Your Pirates, well, no 4th Bucktober this year. They were eliminated just last night by the Cubs. Penn State loses to Michigan. But probably the worst thing that happened this week was the loss of an icon, a legend, Arnold Palmer. You know, not only here in Pittsburgh and Latrobe are we feeling the vibrations, the bad vibrations of Mr. Palmer passing on, but from across the world, whether it be Japan or Europe, people are sad by the loss of the king. There's a reason for that, because the people that you talk to that ever met Arnold Palmer said he was genuine. He represented what Pittsburgh was about. He told you the truth, he looked you in the eye, and he signed an autograph for you. Or maybe he helped a kid by raising money at one of his local hospitals. Arnold Palmer was the real deal. So let's go out to a local golf course right now and talk to, well, you know, the everyday golfer, Joe Average golfer, and see what they thought about the legendary passing of Arnold Palmer.
I mean, it's hard to put him into words. You know, everybody he touched had a special feeling that they felt like he knew them forever, and anybody that came in contact with him was a better person.
And one, I think, was the greatest person ever to deal and help in golf, number one. Number two, England has a knight, Sir Nick Faldo, but the United States has the real king, Arnold Palmer. He was the best.
Oh yeah, he always had a sense of humor, but the day I played with him, I played very well, and so it was more like, what are you doing here, Matt? You know, that kind of thing. So he always had encouraged. He always encouraged you. He always promoted you. He always had positive things to say.
But I think his legacy will be more the humanitarian efforts that he did. You know, building a hospital, donating to all kinds of charities, raising money for charities. I think that would be the biggest thing. But he would talk to you like you were just, and I just met him, like you were a nice guy, you know, like he knew you. So.
Saw Palmer up playing in Ligonier area, and he was playing with Bob Hope, among others, and they were quite a foursome. Of course, Hope was just full of jokes and goofing around, whatever, and Palmer was taking it relatively seriously, but was a kind of a pro-am, so it didn't make much difference. And Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania, can be very proud of him in many respects, not just as a golfer, but as a human being.
In an outing with him at Champion Lakes, he was with Chichi Rodriguez, Dick Grote.
I say PGA inducted him into the Hall of Fame as a distinguished member of the section, and he gave us a tour of his office and all the memorabilia that he has in Latrobe and all that kind of thing. And he took us through, and we went into his office, beautiful office he has there, you know, beautiful furniture, the whole works. And I saw those pictures that you always see signed Arnold Palmer. You know, he'll personalize it and sign his name on it. And I said, Mr. Palmer, are those the pictures that you sign? He says, yeah. And I said, do you send those to the people? He says, yeah, I spend over $250,000 a year sending home postage. $250,000 a year.
All right, as we can tell, Mr. Palmer was well respected. You know, I grew up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and as kids, every time a jet would fly over, we'd always say, there goes Arnold. You know why? Because he was a local kid who had done good. He had his own jet, he flew his own plane. And he flew his own plane because he was maybe heading out to Los Angeles to host the Tonight Show, which he did one time. Or maybe he was heading out to LA or Palm Springs to hang out with the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. Not only was he a great golfer, but he was just a great guy to be around. You know, everybody's, well, pal was Arnold Palmer. As I got to know Mr. Palmer throughout the years, I interviewed him several times, and his sense of humor never ever failed him. One of my favorite stories is I was late to interview Mr. Palmer in his own home, in his own office, the King's Court, by an hour and a half. I didn't want to be late, but traffic and a cell phone that had lost his battery made me late. As I came into his office, he looked at me kind of funny, like, "Are you kidding me? You're late to interview me." As I sat down to interview, well, Arnold Palmer, who had won 4 Masters and 2 British Opens, I sat down and I introduced myself and said, "How are you, Mr. Trevino?" He laughed. A lot of other guys would have been insulted by that, but not Arnold Palmer. He thought it was funny, and he said, "How you doing, Bob?" That was Arnold Palmer. He rolled with the punches. And maybe that's what made him a great golfer too. He rolled with the punches. If he sprayed it to the left or sprayed it to the right, Arnold didn't care. He knew golf was a game of recovery. He'd grab that 9-iron and whack it as hard as he could. That's how he played the game. As I got to know Mr. Palmer in his later years, I assure you, he was very generous with his time. Take a look at this clip several years ago, just 4 brief years ago. I got to sit down with Mr. Palmer before the World Golfers Championships in South Africa. He took his time to say hello to a friend of his that was sick at the time.
Hey, welcome back to Golfing Around. We're here at the 18th Annual World Golfers Championships held this year in Durban, South Africa. But before we start, let's hear from the patron of the World Golfers Championships, Mr. Arnold Palmer. All right, all you world golfers, we have a very special interview right now. I'm here with the patron of the World Golfers Championship, Mr. Arnold Palmer. Arnold, how are you today? Right. Arnold, what advice do you have for all the world golfers? They've come from Thailand, Africa, some 40 countries, even Brazil this year is here at the World Golfers Championship. Any advice how to win this whole thing? Right. You know, Arnold is a little stiff today. Let's see if we can change some things up.
Well, good luck to all of you world golfers. I hope you have a really great tournament and all of you do very well.
The World Golfers Championship. I'm here with Mulligan in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and of course the patron of the World Golfers Championship, Mr. Arnold Palmer. Arnold and Sven go way back. I guess you used to go to Sweden and golf with them, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Mr. Palmer has a few special words for you, Sven, on your 80th birthday coming up.
Well, welcome from America, and Sven, I hope you're feeling better. I understand you've really had some pretty serious health problems, and knowing as tough as you are, you will get over those very quickly and be back on the line again as quick as you can. I want to wish you all very well on the World's Golf Championship there in South Africa. I hope that works out very well. It's important that these programs go along very good. So good luck, everybody. And Sven, I hope you're doing better. And now that you're getting in the right digits, in the 80s, that is, I'm sure you'll make it okay.
Mr. Palmer, we appreciate it as always. Let's get back. Let's have some fun in South Africa.
That was Arnold Palmer. You know, there's been a lot of great golfers throughout history. And there's an old saying, money doesn't make a man, money unmasks a man. You know, if you give a guy some money, is he the same old guy he was before? Or is he buying the drinks at the bar? Or does he think he's special somehow, just because he has a few extra dollars in his pocket? That wasn't Arnold Palmer. In fact, if he had a few extra bucks, it probably went to a charity. Babe Ruth, Muhammad Ali, Arnold Palmer, probably the greatest sports figures we've ever had in the United States of America. His passing is an end of an era, and quite frankly, broke my heart.
When summer's in the meadow, or when the valley